Warcraft versus Andor. Why stories need tragedy. A video here from Zaxxas. How do you guys feel about the War Within story so far? Bit disconnected. It's a bit odd. I'm not gonna lie. I feel like Metzen kind of grabbed this expansion by the balls and said, well, we're gonna have to give it a little twist because it's not going the way I want it to go. And really, this last patch feels like a midnight pre-patch more than it feels like the final patch of the War Within. It's a bit discombobulated, a lot of storylines not finished, but I do feel like the story of Midnight is going to be better.
You bitch.
I'm excited for it. You could cuss me out,
you know, I'm not
you can say what you want, but the thing is, I feel like this is going to be a good storyline. Okay? Let's see what Zaxxas has to say about why stories need tragedy. Oh, and the tab is muted. Of course. Look, guys, it's going to be scuffed. It's going to be scuffed all day, and you're just going to have to deal with it. I don't know what to tell you. Here we go.
Even in fantasy, there comes a point when truth is no longer optional, where the illusion of utopia becomes a weight on the soul of a story.
Ooh, heavy.
In the Star Wars series Andor, the character Mon Mothma warns us of this moment.
The death of truth is the ultimate victory of evil.
Oh, damn.
A warning not just for her galaxy far, far away, but for ours, and the geeky, wonderful worlds that we hold dear. The burning of Teldrassil changed everything, but did its resolution feel grounded, relatable, and most importantly, historical?
The burning of Teldrassil still is, even till now, even though they tried to put Sylvanas on this entire character arc, it just feels so out of character, till now. Like, I don't understand. Like, she was feeding the jailer, like she was giving him more souls for the maw, and that was why she did it. And like, she dropped the whole, I will never serve. Well, what the hell were you doing right here, Sylvanas? You literally eliminated, like, an entire race of people because you were serving the jailer. But then she says that she will never serve. I'll turn it up. Yeah, I'll turn it up a bit. It makes no sense to me. This whole thing just seems... The Shadowlands story is just... It's a tough one. Honestly, it's a tough one to comprehend.
What could have been a reckoning, a wounded divide and source of personal new hatreds for generations to come, became instead an icon of renewal. A catalyst for us to overcome our desire and need for vengeance. Now, as of late, we've been delivered these narratives that focus on large cosmic forces vying for ultimate control of truth and power.
True.
But Warcraft once thrived on one of the old reliables of storytelling, character conflict.
Yeah. Man. The Dalaran cinematic.
Who came to...
You disappoint me, Garrosh. This was a great one. Yeah, it does feel like I miss the grounded stories. I do. Sometimes that's why I talk about a WoW 2 and how do we go back to the days of Hagar and the Defias Brotherhood, like these smaller enemies that felt large at the time because we didn't have the overpowered weapons and the overpowered gear and galactic scale events. We just had local issues to deal with. And it made the world feel more dangerous because, yes, dealing with the Defias Brotherhood took some skill, but you always knew there was that dragon looming over the mountain, you know? It was like there was always those other threats that weren't otherworldly. They were just bigger threats than what you were currently dealing with. Now we're just on a cosmic level. I mean, my background right now is a fucking guy capable of devouring an entire planet. So, I mean, yeah, it feels like a bit of a different level, but I miss this scale. I do. I miss the bickering back and forth. I miss the Horde and Alliance. I miss the small threats. I miss the feeling small. Yeah, that's, I feel like, what I miss most about the game right now.
Call Azeroth home were of differing values, wounds, and pride that more often collided into something tragically brutal, but meaningful in scope. The downfall of Arthas Menethil was powerful because his pride was sincere, and it shone as the driving, relatable focus within the cosmic scheme of the Dreadlords and the Scourge and the Jailer.
Yes.
And that was a different era, one where consequences still proudly echoed across unfolding chapters.
The thing about Arthas is he was a very relatable villain because even if you didn't agree with him, there's still the slogan out there, Arthas did nothing wrong, right? And it's because there is a nuance to his evil. You know, maybe he didn't go about things the right way, but there's some understandability, some relatability to him as a character. Like, you can see why he did what he did. You might not agree with it, but you can see why he did it. And that's part of what makes him a great villain. Much like Darth Vader, same thing, Anakin falling, trying to rescue Padme and all that. Like, that's why he's a great villain. You could even say Garrosh. Like, he was a good villain. You want to argue that WoD wasn't a great expansion, but Garrosh was a good villain. Everything he did made sense. He was trying to make the Horde better. He was trying to root out any, people who weren't agreeing with him, whatever. His means to achieving Horde greatness may have not been optimal, but it made sense why he was doing what he was doing. Gul'dan, another one, yeah. Yeah, he did nothing wrong. Right, like the Jailer did nothing. Jesus. The Jailer was completely unrelatable. It goes back to the same point here. An unrelatable villain, a villain who's trying to say he's smarter than you and he won't tell you his plan the entire time. There's nothing you can relate to there. What the hell's the point of what he's doing? Nobody can understand it. Nobody knows why he's doing what he's doing, and that's what makes him a shitty villain. Thanos is another good example of a relatable villain. Right? You understand. He's trying to eliminate populations. Why? Because he thinks that it's overpopulation and we're all going to die if we don't fix it. Again, these are the good villains, and that's why Arthas was a great villain.
This is how we get the calling of Stratholme. When a personal righteousness overcomes the optics of what you think you know to be right. And then there's Sylvanas Windrunner. She was a broken soul hardened by death, and her motives grandiose.
Yeah.
Those motives, however, became the scapegoat that spared the Horde the blame and consequences for what happened at Teldrassil. The pang of terror was cut short, and no true vengeance was allowed in the wake of it. No dark mirror held to the audience. Saurfang came close. His internal crisis, his shame, his final stand. They had
his son dying in Icecrown. I mean, Saurfang was a great story. I loved it. Like, whatever you want to say about BFA, it's sad that he ended this way. But whatever you want to say about, BFA and everything, it had some really good cutscenes, some really good storytelling when it came to Saurfang specifically. And even Anduin had some good character development in BFA. Overall, he was great. Like, as an Alliance player, I related to him. He lost his son. He wanted to fight for the Horde that he once loved. He wanted an honorable death. Like, all these things made sense about him. He was never a villain, but he was seeking honor. Adam, thank you for the Prime sub. I appreciate that, man. And Kelly, you're right. Let the audience in on the story. The whole, this is a big secret, and, you don't understand it. You small-brained people don't understand the story yet, and you will eventually, and then we really never did. I mean, what was the Jailer even talking about? A cosmos divided cannot stop what is to come. His final word was come. I mean, come on. Come on, guys. That whole thing still doesn't make sense, and they're going to try to make it make sense eventually, but he was just a bad villain, let's be honest.
Final stand. They had weight because they were...
The Jailer wanted to stop the Void Lords. That's what they're going to try to tie it into. Yes, but why? What was his point? What was his motivation? He thought the entire world was a piece of shit anyways. He didn't like the souls. He didn't like his siblings. He thought the entire thing, the afterlife was broken, which it was because he was originally the Arbiter or whatever. His motivations made no sense. Why does he want to save the world from the Void? So he can rule over it? I don't... Okay. Oh, and then what? I just didn't get it. His motivation's broken. There's like missing pieces there, and that's why he's not relatable.
Epic moments of unity that we love in this franchise. But instead of sparking
maybe he wasn't talking about the
rally
Warlords.
cry in the hearts
We
of
don't
the
know.
young Horde, Blizzard used Saurfang and Teldrassil as catalysts for universal peace, breaking the cycle, as it were. But cycles are not broken through speeches and singular sacrifice. They're broken through realized consequences, through traumatic memory, and through tension that doesn't always resolve on cue for the next world-ending threat.
True.
What made Andor powerful as a series for me is how it allowed hatred to burn through memory, never forgetting and never forgiving. That is what the burning of Teldrassil needed to escalate. Why should a young night elf realistically forgive the Horde? Instead of manufactured wisdom, where is the everlasting bitterness? A new generation who sees the Horde not as neighbors to be tended to, but as undeserving monsters. That is Warcraft.
Yeah, a grudge that would make sense, right? And one thing about the Night Elves is if you played the original Warcrafts, you would know the Night Elves were freaking warriors, man. They were scary. You walk into a forest and you're an enemy of the Night Elves, that was a scary place to be. They would kill on spot. They didn't care. They were not friendly to anybody who wasn't friendly to them, even to the humans. Like the humans, they were allied with them. But it was always like, we're allies, but the Night Elves are going to go do what they want to do. If they see an enemy, they're going to go kill them, whether or not the Alliance or the King of Lordaeron agrees with it. Like, these things were always there. Get off my lawn, people. Yeah, I mean, get out of my Teldrassil, basically. Yeah, the Night Elves were a very cool warrioristic race, and they lost a lot of that. And, well, they did. They kind of got soft. And the fact that the Horde are allowed in their new city is kind of ridiculous.
We have a realm.
Crooner, thank you for the follow and welcome to our Scourge. Yeah, I think their cross-faction city was a mistake. I get you want to make all these cities cross-faction now, but in terms of lore, it just makes no sense.
Servant.
It doesn't.
We have a realm to destroy.
Nox Navigator, thank you for the follow. Welcome to our Scourge.
That is Warcraft, or it sure used to be. Teldrassil could have been Warcraft's version of the Gorman Massacre. An event that ignited lasting scars and announced itself as a call for heroes to choose sides not just based on faction, but unconscious, flawed, or otherwise. Allow the Alliance to bring justice.
Yeah.
And let the Horde confront its darker natures.
Yeah. I wish.
Instead, the Horde apologized, pointed fingers, and the Alliance forgave. This isn't peace,
right.
my friends. This is historical amnesia disguised as closure.
Yeah. Never
In
forget
Andor,
Thomas Selleck.
we have the character Clea, a woman whose calm, focused fury was forged in childhood trauma. She is the orphan that Warcraft refuses to embrace. Not evil, but never forgetting. Now, let's think about Zircon, a young troll who lost his father. But how?
What happened to Zappy Boy? Is he still around? I don't play Horde, so I haven't seen him since the expansion. But he was cool. He had potential. Whatever happened to him? Are there Horde players in here who can tell me? Is Zappy Boy just an NPC standing around right now, Zakan? Excited for the reveal today? Hell yeah. Yeah, very excited. Zappy Boy was one of us. He was, and he was cool, and he was a fan favorite. I think he became more of a fan favorite than Blizzard even expected. I don't think they expected him to take on the role in the community that he did. Love the Secret Lab. Yeah, it's a great chair. No cool Horde characters at the moment. You're right. There aren't. I would say actually Lorthamar is. I think Lorthamar personally is a very cool Horde character. I think he's got cool leadership abilities. He's done good things for his people. If you've read some of the side stories, the way he's dealt with Illyria and the Void and stuff, he's cool. And he tries to lead his people the right way. The thing I'm afraid of is we had the cinematic preview, right, from Blizzard, and Lorthamar is in the cinematic on his knee in front of Xalatat. So I'm kind of scared that something's going to happen to him. And then really, like, I'll be like, oh my God, where is the Horde leadership now? Okay, the last badass on the Horde is going to die today? I hope not.
We don't know.
He's licking
Why
her toes,
is it
maybe.
that in this expansion about generational war, was it not the case that Zakan's father was slain by Alliance soldiers? Why couldn't we have a Zakan that inherited old hatreds as well as forging new ones? Not because it's right, but because it's true to life on Azeroth. This is how characters become mirrors, not to ourselves, but to the worlds they live in. That's how stories become reflections worth watching. When Horde soldiers march through Koltiran towns, leaving orphans in their wake, how is that not going to stir up a lasting impact?
He's right.
Oh, it's okay, child. They were at war when they didn't want to be. And that child just grows up wizened without ever confronting or acting on the impact of this traumatic event.
He's right.
This isn't how stories and characters grow. That's how they...
Yeah, it feels like there's no gravity to anything that happens. Like, oh, it's all right. It's just a patch thing, you know? Oh, that's fine. His father died. That's just for the patch, though. He'll be over it by the next patch. It just doesn't feel relatable because obviously in real life we don't get our feelings patched out every patch. So he's right. the gravitas of the situation has never been realized. It just gets kind of bypassed. So, oh, next expansion, so we're not gonna deal with that anymore. iFans, thank you for the follow.
Vanish. When you peak your characters at the highest moral good early as possible, where do they go? Only downwards. No room to grow. When every character becomes a peace seeker, Warcraft will lose its potential for the heroic moments of unity that we love about it in the first place. You need two sides to go at each other for a bit before they make up. Warcraft used to thrive on justified hatred.
True.
And it's what made those moments of mutual alliance between two opposing factions actually meaningful. Blizzard has gone as far as sterilizing the motives of the most iconic greenskin haters.
Yeah.
A utopia of racial unity between the Horde and Alliance might sound...
This was bad, man. This was bad. This was not good. I'm not a WoW hater. Like, I love the game. I love the stories in it. But obviously, I hate it when the stories take a turn that I feel like it shouldn't have, just for moral righteousness. And that's what this felt like. Like, we're just going to talk shit about the Arathi. I mean, the Arathi did some cool stuff in the past, too. Yeah, they did some messed up shit. Name a civilization on Earth that hasn't done some messed up shit. That doesn't mean we just completely ignore the rest of the history because of that. And I feel like that's what the cinematic was. Like, we have, she's looking around talking about, oh, the ruins of the fallen Arathi Empire. This is great. Look at all the cool stuff they built. And Dan's like, no, don't look at it. It's relics of shit. We actually did bad things, so nothing good came out of the Arathi. Sorry about that. Next patch. That's how it felt. Canadians, I don't know what that has to do with, but that's what it felt like. It just felt like we were gonna basically bypass everything great about the Arathi because they did some messed up shit. And yeah, they were racist. They probably were. They were very humanistic back in their days. It is what it is. But I think the story could have been told better.
Noble and
no, I'm on
honorable,
US.
But it kills the narrative's purpose. And the most powerful payoff that Blizzard could build toward, the inevitable, tragic collapse of that peace...
Thanks for the follow, guys.
...is something they seem unwilling to pull the trigger on. Conflict is not just immaturity. It's the fire that tempers legacy. It's how we learn who we are and what we must never become. Warcraft doesn't need another world-ending threat.
Agreed.
It just needs a world that remembers, that lets orphans hate, a world that lets flawed leaders commit to their cause with or without question, and a world that lets truth tear a rift in time. We can't always brush away the pain of loss with another hopeful seed or wide-eyed messiah, because justice starts with scars, not speeches.
This is important. This is important because right now we are going to the top of the Eastern Kingdoms. Midnight expansion's coming. Upper half of the Eastern Kingdoms is going to become very important. And this cinematic right here that he's showing is the High Elves, basically going at it with the, Amani Trolls. Okay? Is that going to remain viable? Because I feel like the Amani Trolls are about to come into the story again. Are they going to be part of the Horde? I don't know. Or Alliance? They hate the Horde for the High. And are the Elves going to be able to deal with the Amani in their past with them? Because these two went at it nonstop. Or are we just going to all be friends? Are we going to go right now to the top of the Eastern Kingdoms and the Amani Trolls and the Blood Elves are going to hug it out? Because that's ridiculous. But that seems to be like where the WoW stories go now. There's no conflict, everlasting conflict, and there should be. Because remember, I spit on the Horde. It was like they hated them. They hated them even once they joined the Horde. They still hated them. They hated them for everything they stood for. They hated them for the countless losses of their friends and family in this battle between them constantly. So I hope that hate's still there when we get to the Eastern Kingdoms. We'll see. They'll be friends. You'll see. Maybe. Thank you for the follows, guys.
Andor
Friendship is
reminds
magic.
us what Warcraft is starting to forget. Conflict must cost something. It must propel something and give new meaning to the future conflicts.
Yes.
We need to witness the truth that is the triumph of common evil, not cosmic misunderstanding. Let people fall, let ideologies clash, and let history be heavy. Because right now, Warcraft is drifting into the same trap that the Titans fell into. Everything just becomes a point of view. Everyone right in their own eyes. When every villain is just misunderstood, when every war is just perspective without passion,
Yeah,
then we lose.
I'm holding out on Zalateth. He's right. I'm holding out on Zalateth, though, because I don't think she's a good guy. I don't think she's becoming a good guy. She's just using us to get rid of an obstacle that is Demancius. I do like where Locust Walker's lore is going, because Illyria's questioning the shit that he did back in the past. He's trying to say what was necessary. You know, I had to sacrifice the planet at the end of the day. There was nothing I could do, or we were all going to die. Illyria's not okay with that decision. There's some conflict here. We'll see how long it carries on. Is it just going to get patched out? I don't know. But yeah, all these characters right now, their character arcs and their development is going to be important. Thank you for the subs and the follows, guys. I appreciate that. Philip, thank you for the sub on YouTube and the follows.
When every war is just perspective without passion, then we lose the spine
Zal for a third
of
faction
myth
leader?
itself. No one then dares to ask, what if truth isn't subjective? What if truth is sacred? And our failure is constantly trying to rewrite it. Like the Titans, many don't want to inherit truth. They want to reforge it.
True.
And that is the great
The truth
mistake.
is true.
Is that believing perspective is enough to replace timelessly learned meaning. Warcraft hardly needs another mysterious villain like Twinkletoes over here. What it needs is mirrors. Characters that reflect our fears, our pride.
Yeah, was Garrosh the last great villain? He might be. I'm trying to think of somebody that came after him that kind of, shook me the way Garrosh did. Gave me feels down low the way Garrosh did. I don't think so. I don't think there's been a good one since him. And Garrosh was fully developed in the world of Warcraft. He was not a Warcraft 3 character. He was developed during the Metzen days, came through, did his thing, and I kind of think we haven't had a good villain since him. Yeah, he was. Yeah, Legion. The Legion, okay, Sargeras, sure. Sargeras was a great villain. I did like the Burning Legion. They are a good villain. I agree. That's a good one. But the Legion was already there. Like, the Legion was developed in Burning Crusade. Like, we got really introduced. The Legion's been there since vanilla. But I felt like we got their development kind of in Burning Crusade, and then obviously finished their story in Legion. So I feel like they're pre-Garrosh. Like, they were a character arc that was written Garrosh came around during BC. The first time we ever saw him was in Nagrand. And then, Thrall took him under his wing, brought him back, and here we are now developing Garrosh, and then Wad was the end of his story. I think Garrosh was awesome. I do. I still think he was awesome. I think he was a relevant story. I still can't believe he can't call Sylvanas a bitch anymore. They took that out of the game. That's kind of sad. But he was badass. He would drop lines like that. He didn't give a shit. So we're going to get more villains like him. We'll see. We'll see. I don't know Zalateth where she's going to end up going. I don't like her being our friend. I think she's going to become our enemy again, which is good. And we'll see how many foot picks we get of her too. That's
and
important.
our misbeliefs. Not idealized versions of ourselves.
Gul'dan was a
but
good villain.
Honest ones.
Gul'dan was the last time I wanted to kill a raid boss for emotion's sake. Because what he did to Varian, and I liked Varian, that was the last time that I wanted to go into a raid and kill a raid boss just out of pure emotion. I want to kill this guy for what he did. That was the last time I felt that way. So yes, Gul'dan was also a great villain.
Mirrors that allow us to choose, not between Horde and Alliance, but between the justice of truth and the injustice of illusion. The truth is like a gemstone, without pressure, without friction, and scarring the land. It remains buried, and its shape hidden. When we erase memory, when we soften reactions to
Fury
atrocities, when we scapegoat instead of confront, what we're really doing is exiling truth from the story.
The death of truth is the ultimate victory of evil. And that truth has been exiled from this chamber.
She was talking about us.
Damn.
And our current battle to hold on to truth
2
in an
p.m. Eastern
age
time,
where
please.
it's feared. My name is Zaxxas, and if you enjoyed this video today, please
It's a
drop
great
a like,
video.
leave a comment. I'd love to hear what you have to say. And hopefully some of this resonated with you. And, P.S., go watch Andor.
Yeah, Andor's good. This is a great video. Great video, great points. And look, guys, I'll link this in the chat. If you want to follow, watch the video, help Zaxxas out. He's got a great channel. He does all kinds of good lore stuff for sure. The thing about good villains is they're important. They're important. They're a motivator to play. They're a connector of storylines, and they're really the underlying thing that gets into an expansion. Like, yes, the gameplay. WoD was a good example of a good villain with bad gameplay design that led to a bad expansion. But if you get both, if you line it up, good villain, good gameplay, you end up with something like Legion or something like Wrath of the Lich King, where the game is just at its peak and everything feels right. And I hope they do that. I hope they do. I have some hope for Midnight that the story is going to be better and things are going to be kind of back on track, but we'll wait and see what happens. Nice video from Zaxxas.